Okay, I'm gonna take another look at my play-by-email game. I have two games going. This is the game where I am the allies, and I just finished my turn as the Axis. In that game, I think I am about 4 or 5 turns behind this one. This game is in May of 42. The other game where I'm Axis is around, I guess, late March of 42. In the game as Axis, I'll update that with another video. It's pretty interesting what's going on. Maybe not as interesting as this game, though. In this game, I would say I have not played well as allies after England was invaded. Because honestly, I just didn't have any experience with how invasions and supply work. And so as a result, I put my forces in a position where supply was a big problem. Invading in northern Spain and northeastern Portugal, and also in Brittany, in western France. Those haven't gone well at all because basically I just can't supply my forces, and I think I need to reread the supply rules. Although I did look at them, and I'm not sure they're clear enough. Really, I don't think they're well enough written for me to understand them. Um, but my units are constantly low on supply, not receiving replacements. Their effectiveness levels are dropping. I checked some of my fighters last turn. Their effectiveness, instead of being where I expected it to be since they've been resting, to be up around, I don't know, 60 plus, their effectiveness was around 10%. That's 10% effectiveness. That's terrible. So as a result, I decided last turn to try to abandon my beachheads. I don't really know how I can hold them because supply is just too much of a problem. So um, what I may do instead, I've got a couple of other ideas. I may have to try to open up the Med, even though he's closed Gibraltar. Maybe I can pound away in Britain, although it seems like he's advancing in Britain a little bit, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then just pound away with the Red Army and hope that I can do damage there. So he got clear weather last turn in Portugal, and he managed to make some nice attacks where I just didn't have enough units. I had a headquarters holding the line in northern Portugal, and he was able to break that, isolate a U.S. armored unit. I've tried to use supply trucks to increase my supply, something I just recently started doing, and maybe that's one of the things I need to be doing. But we'll take a look at that as well. First, here we go. We have heavy armor advancement for UK. UK, by the way, has manpower problems. They're hovering right around that 50% mark, so you can't really build any new units with them, or I can't. I'm just trying to keep the units they have on the board um, um, up to strength because they lost a lot of manpower when they lost the United Kingdom. Uh, so you can see some other really bad things happened here. USA's Fifth Corps shattered. That's, I think, in Spain. Dwight Eisenhower killed in action, and there is no replacement leader. Once you lose a good leader like that, he's gone. I should have pulled him out by replacing him with a poor leader, but I just didn't think of it, and I didn't really think he'd die this turn. I didn't think that the Axis would get 2 clear weather turns in a row, which they managed to get. I guess maybe I was underestimating the weather. Um, Soviet Union's Third Guards tank shattered. First Guards tank surrendered. These are all terrible blows for the Allies, as you can probably imagine. These are tank armies dying. So that's a huge loss for the Soviets. Supply convoy at 122.30, and I think I know where that happened. I haven't even looked yet, but I'll show you. Supply convoy attacked, did nothing. Lots of low supplies, basic supplies, no supplies. So we also have a tank corps with no supply, or tank army with no supply for the Soviets. And then some merchant marine issues, which aren't really very serious because the U.S. merchants can be used to fill the gaps for the U.K. merchant marine. Okay, so now let's just cruise around the map and take a look at the notifications quickly. UK low manpower, yes, I'm well aware. Let's look at that briefly. UK, you can see, is at 47% manpower, very low. Can't build any new units, and I suspect that replacements they put into existing units will be lower quality, so the unit's quality will decline, although I'm not sure about that. No supply source. This is where they've cut off a tank army or tank corps. We'll get back there. I said tank armies earlier. I guess it's tank corps. Out of supply. Out of supply. Out of supply here for my partisan. That's expected. Basic supply. Probably all of my units at the bridgeheads are on basic supply. So let's run through those. That's a no supply. This unit, you know, while I'm looking at it, I'm going to go ahead and move it. It was out here hunting subs. What is this out here? This is subs. So I'll come back to that actually. Port interdiction here on my bridgehead in Spain. Partisan activity in near Tehran, Iraq, Brussels against the Germans, and then my partisan in the Soviet Union. Okay, so those are the notifications. Let's go through the theaters one at a time and take some action. So we'll start with the naval situation. The Allied Navy is basically sheltered in Scapa Flow, which is a port here in north of Britain on an island. That's because the British Air was striking it when I had it in, or sorry, the German Air was striking it when I had it in other ports. So it's pretty safe up here. The problem is that there's nothing really that it can do effectively because of the land-based air that the Axis has in northern Spain and in western France. If I sail my Navy out, they get plastered by the land-based air. The British don't have much left to raid with. There is looks like a sub here, so the way this game works, if you return a ship to port, then you can't sail anything out. It's, I think, a bug or something. But so what I have to do is decide, first of all, what I'm going to send out. So let's form a couple of task forces here. Carrier task forces to go hunt those U-boats. So we'll put in a carrier. I think I got a British carrier. Yeah, Illustrious. And then we'll grab the UK destroyer. We will sail out here and hope that we can hit that guy. Since we took 2 moves, we can't strike this turn. But if he stays in place, we'll hit him next turn. He probably will not stay in place. He'll run around. 2 more units. Let's go ahead and sail them way down here so that if he tries to run south, I have a chance to hit him. And then let's get another carrier group and let's send this one west in case he runs up to the North Atlantic convoy line. We'll be waiting for him up here and we can try to strike him. Let's say out here. And then let's maybe even send another group out here. The Ark Royal along with some destroyer. Let's find one. There's one. And we'll have this guy wait, let's say here, so that if he tries to come north, I have something to hit him with. And if he stays where he is, I can hit him next turn because I can hit him. I can move 1 and then hit him with my second move. All right, so I think that's probably all that I'll be sending out from that port. For now. Let me just double check what's there in terms of troops. Yep, just a UK division is floating there, so I won't be sending that out. I'm going to send this US Corps into Britain. So we will land it here. And then this, there was a carrier group over here. Yeah, this US carrier group. Earlier I was hunting a U-boat up here, so let's dock him at Reykjavik in Iceland. And we've got another US Corps transiting the Atlantic. Let's head up north. Let's say here. Try to stay away from that U-boat. I've got another Corps here. Let's get him on some ships. Actually, let's undo that move. Before I embark him, I want to make sure that I don't need the boats to get units out of Spain. So let's take a look here. I'm in the midst of evacuating this bridgehead. I just don't think I can hold it. Although I could try to hold it. Let's first see what kind of an attack. I can only get a 2-to-1 here. I need to break out my armor, or he's almost dead. So let's use truck supply to increase the effectiveness of this unit. And then let's start to attack here. 2-1. It's not a great first result. I think I'll take a shot at this guy to push him back. So let me put truck supply here. And then let's try to push this guy back. We did that. And then let's take this infantry I sort of risk throwing good money after bad here, but I'd like to get my armor out. So let's put some, oops, let me undo that. Oh, I can't undo that move. We'll take these 3 guys and see if we can force this. Yes, we got them. All right, so the Italians were forced back. We now advance this armor to the beach, or near the port. This armor, I'm going to go ahead and embark it to get it out of there. And let's send it. I'd ideally like to put him in a port up here in Britain, so let's do that. The idea here will be to let him rest and recuperate because he's battered. Next, we will advance this unit. Let's see here. How do I want to do this? Sorry, I got raided by kids, so I had to pause there for a minute. What I want to do is get this headquarters out of here. It's Patton, my only other good U.S. headquarters. So he's going to escape. Let's see what I have here now. I've got the Canadian headquarters and the U.S. headquarters in port. They can both move. So let's see. Next, let's decide what's the next unit we want to get out. So I think it's going to be this unit is the next one we want to get out. We will send the trying to think what would work well here. I don't want to allow the enemy to attack directly onto this port, but if I move this unit to this hex, then I think he could only get 1 hex side attack on this port. I think I could probably hold it. Boy, this is a tough situation. Before anything else, let's put this armor on this port so I make sure he gets away, because he's a really important, expensive unit. If I lose the infantry, it's going to stink, but it won't be as bad. Next, I think what I want to do is let's fall back with this American infantry so that it'll be more difficult for him to cut off the Canadians here. And here I could run for the northern bridgehead with this unit, but I kind of feel like I'm going to have a better chance. Let me put this guy on hold orders, which makes him try really hard to hold the port. I think I'm better off just holding at all these spots. So let's put these guys. I could put them on hold fast, but I think they're probably going to be forced to retreat. And if they're on hold fast, they'll shatter instead of retreating, and I think I want to let them retreat. I can put a truck onto this guy, so let's do that. This guy definitely needs to have hold fast orders. And let's put, we put truck supply on here. Let's also give truck supply to this infantry. So I'm making liberal use of truck supply here to try to beef my units up as much as I can to hold this bridgehead. I've also got a bridgehead here in southern Portugal. And this is a very small port. It's only a size 2 port, so it can't really supply much. I have 3 units there. It can supply them, but that's about it. I think we will call it good here at this point. And I'm going to pause the recording and come back. Okay, I'm back. That was a brief pause to take care of something here with the kids. Let's look around here. We'll go up to Brittany. I would say that I need to get this unit out, so let's put him there, and then I'd love to use truck supply for these guys, but it looks like the British don't have any right now. I think I was building some. Is this guy dug in? Yes, he is dug in. I think I'll leave him there for now. It's feasible that, I mean, it's possible that this unit would move out of Brest and dislodge this core. So I'm going to put them on hold fast, hoping that they won't lose that port. That would be disastrous because then all 4 units would be captured there. I'm going to put truck supply in this guy as well to try to hold that port in case he does come after him. In Britain, the Germans have been making some attacks, but I've been counterattacking, so I would say it's basically a stalemate. My attacks are not very good. I do have air that I can use. So I could make an attack here. This guy's dug in entrenchment 2. This guy's not dug in at all. So I think this would be the place to hit. Plus I don't really want to use the British because they're so low on manpower. So let's have a go here. No luck. So no effect from those 2 ground strikes. This next US TAC air. For some odd reason, he's not able to strike. I don't understand it at all. I'm not sure why. Let's try this one. Okay, he can strike. 1 strike. That was effective finally. And none. No damage. This US bomber group. Let's strike with him. Alright. And then I could throw some British air in. I don't really want to lose anything with them, but at this point maybe the enemy's worn down enough that I won't lose any points. So that I won't have to spend any manpower. Yep, that worked. I still don't understand why this guy can't strike. I think I'm going to try moving him to a different hex to see if that matters. Let's stick him, let's say, here. You know what, let me undo that move. Let's not rail him, let's just fly him. But he can't fly either, that's odd. I don't understand what's going on with this guy. Well, I'll rail him then. Okay. Now for the attack itself, let's see what kind of odds I have. 3 to 1. It's not great odds, but it's okay. I'll take it. That's a good result, I would say. Not so good result. Good result. And then let's take the hex with this infantry. I'll probably be forced back by the Germans, but that's okay. I would kind of want to bleed them and make them take damage here. The idea is to attrit them because my economy is bigger than theirs. Tempted to move this British. I think I will move this British unit into the mountains here, the hills. What British commander do I have? Brooke. He's alright, I guess. I've got a Canadian unit here, so let's embark this armor. Thinking about where I can put it. I need to get the Canadian out of Belfast. I could invade Ireland to take a port and get manpower for the British potentially. So maybe I need to arrange that to let the British take Dublin. That's not a bad idea. Do I have any British units I'm pulling out? No. I think I want to take Dublin with the Brits when I get a chance. Oh, let me um, let me move this British headquarters out so that I can move the American armor into Britain. Park in here. That'll allow me to put the Canadian in port here so that the Canadian's ready to embark. Let me check if the Canadians have any invasion. They do have no landing ships, so they can't land, but at least I can get them over to Britain. The US has 80 landing ships and the UK has 40, so there's some invasion capability there. Okay, I think that's it here in Britain. Let's go back to what we were doing down here because I just realized a minute ago that I forgot to move these two units, these headquarters. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sending, I think I want to get the Canadians rolling into Britain to sort of ease the manpower stress that the British have there because they keep losing manpower. Let's debark my Canadian headquarters there. And then I've got a US headquarters on a ship here also. So we will send this headquarters, I think it used to be Eisenhower, but he was killed in battle. Let me send it to, I think the same place should be probably okay. Because I don't really want him commanding my frontline troops. Oh, that's Patton actually. So Eisenhower must have been killed here. Let's see if we can replace him with a better headquarters. Who do we have? It looks like the best remaining headquarters is probably MacArthur. So we'll stick him in. Okay. And now I've also got Patton there. But I think I'll send Patton if I invade somewhere. Alright. I also want to embark this fighter group to get it out of there. So let me get it moving. I'm going to send it up to, let's see, where can it go? I think probably we can send it here. And then we'll debark it. No airfields. Okay, let's undo that move. We'll send it, let's say here. And try to debark. Yes, there was an airfield there. This is 36% effectiveness, so I'm going to turn off support. So put mission only support, and that way he can just try to recuperate a little bit or recover. Okay, so now I think we really are done with Spain. We're done with Britain. I think I had one US unit that I could have embarked over here. At, what town is this, or what city? This is Boston, I think. Yeah, Boston. So we'll hop aboard our transports, and the question is, do I want to start sending Americans into the Med? I think I do. I will need a headquarters for that, though. I believe I built one last turn. Let's check. Yeah, there's a headquarters coming in August. That's a long time. Let me take a look at the Med quickly. So what we have here in the Med is a stalemate in North Africa. Invasion possibilities would be Greece. We could invade around Athens, and I believe we could take Greece out that way. Turkey's a possibility, but it looks a little bit tough to do, although it would give me essentially an unassailable beachhead, because if I could cut off Istanbul and take it, then and then take Ankara, I don't think he could retake Istanbul from me, and I could draw supply from the south here, and he could not hit that with air from here, I don't think. And in any case, I could cover it with my own fighters. So that seems like a great first step. Other options would be Sicily looks a little bit open. some minor ports in Italy, although those are very small. I could land here, but that's a 1 value port, which I know from experience is just not enough. There's a 4 value port here in Spain. So I think we're going to head Mediterranean-ish. Let's go here. And then let's see if we have any replacements to bring in for the US. Yep, we do. We'll deploy here. We also have some armored cores headed our way, so let's see what we can build with the US. 159 won't build anything, so we probably need to either save our money or build more invasion transports. Do I have any coming? I have 10 landing ships coming. I think I'll save my money with the US. With Britain, I don't really want to build anything because I'm trying to husband their manpower. So I think nothing for Britain, although supply trucks are an option, or landing ships. Let me see how much manpower they use. Landing ships use 5 manpower. Supply trucks use 0. Merchant Marine uses 5. Let's see what an infantry unit uses. I'm curious now. Uses 30. So supply trucks are not a bad idea for the British, but I think instead I'll save their money for now. The Canadians have a little bit of money, but just not much. They could build a few landing ships for a division. I think that might be a good idea. So let's take a look at whether they can afford it. Yep. Let's go ahead and build enough for 1 corps to be landed for the Canadians. I built 30 points of landing ships. We'll call them done. Let's just check our research. Everything's good. And then we head to Russia, where the real fun is. Okay. First thing here is we have a partisan. He's going to die. I'll just try to convert some rail lines and maybe get into these mountains or hills here. And then the Axis, let me turn on the movements. It looks like the Axis fell back here. I made a breakthrough here. It looked like they didn't like that breakthrough, so they fell back behind the river and bombarded or maybe even attacked my lead tank unit. So that was probably a good result for the Soviets. I forced them back. I caused a few losses, no big deal. I've just sort of, we're bellied up here along the Dnieper River. He's pretty strong on the west bank. I don't know if I can really cross right now. I might try. I had infiltrated through the swamps to try to cut his supply to Army Group North, or Army Group Center is what I was really trying to cut. And I also made an attack here last turn by Riga. It was able to sort of create not a breakthrough, but a dent in his line. And that combined with some attacks I made in here and attacks I made here, along with the cavalry, I think probably put his entire Army Group Center out of supply during his turn. They're back in supply now, it looks like. I had a breakthrough here with some armored units, and it looks like these are where the 2 that he caused to surrender and to shatter. It looks like they were right in here, and the one that's out of supply is this unit. So, and also it's just a stalemate up here, by the way, in Finland. Let's go ahead and send the Soviet Navy out raiding before I forget. So we'll send first of all this sub, and we'll go raid here. And then, does he have any planes? No. So we'll also send all of the Soviet Navy to raid in the same area. Alright, so now starting in the north, he's been moving, so he should not be dug in. So this should be my opportunity. Yep, nothing's dug in. This is, his line is a little bit shaken. It's been pushed back, pushed around. I think this is my chance to really do something. I don't really have any air here. So let me first move up my headquarters so that I have a commander in the area. Konyev is a very good commander. There's going to be no air, so I would just be pounding away at 2-1, it looks like. 2-1 here as well. I am inclined, and Riga would also be a 2-1. I'm trying to think which hex I'd rather break through on. I think I would rather break through at this hex. This hex seems like a better hex because then it sort of threatens to isolate these units. So I think let's start here with some 2-1s and see what happens. That was a pretty good result. Push it back. Now with this unit, let's see, let me take off the marker so I can see the strength of my units. If I advance this guy, he's only got 1 attack left, which is not much. If I advance a cavalry, he'd have 3 attacks left, but be a lot weaker. So what to do? This guy would have 2 attacks, but be fairly weak. I think let's go with the 2 attacks. I get a 3-2 there, 3-2 there, but I think this should now be still only a 2-1. Let's go for this. That's a decent result. I could now retreat and bring in a cavalry or a different unit. I think I'll do that. This guy now can move in for only 2, so let's do that. Or he would, yep, he's got 3 left. So here's a 4-1. That's pretty good. Let's get this cavalry out of the line and bring in a better unit here. 8-1, that's a very good attack. And then let's go ahead and push forward with this unit. And then these 2 together could get a 3-1 there, or you can get a 7-1 there. Let's go for the 7-1. And then let's see if our cavalry can kind of get into the rear here. It's definitely a possibility he eliminates some cavalry if I do this. But I want to be aggressive. I wonder if I can get a powerful infantry in there. Yes, I can. So let's send this infantry here to try to hold that gap open. And then let's take a pretty decent cavalry and push him through. Alright. I think what I want to do next then, this, by the way, this commander, I'm just checking that he's within 5 and can still command these units, and he can. I could actually push another cavalry through there. I don't know if I want to do that though. I'll think about that. I think the next thing I want to try to do is if I could get a breakthrough in here, it would be ideal. So let's start here. We do have some air here. We have a fighter here which is reduced in value. So it must have been having combat with this German fighter. I'd rather not use it. I'd rather let my fighters, this guy's also reduced. He's at 17 and this guy's at 16. So let's try an attack without air support because this guy's already at a 5. I think I can shatter him. We'll step across the river here. Let's see how we want to do this. Let's do this. We'll send our tank forward. And then let's bring, what's next? I think I want to bring this cavalry in here to make sure that that guy can't retreat. Let's not bring that cavalry. Let's push this guy forward. And then let's bring this tank forward also. So we've got a really weak tank right here that I'd like to hit. So let's take a big attack here. 10-1. Should totally shattered his armored unit, which is great. Get a little payback for him shattering mine. I needed that because I don't want to fall down in the armored core race. And then here, what kind of an attack can I get? 2-1. What other options do I have? I could attack here with a 2-1. Oops, I think I can get better if I use all 3 units. 3-1. This is woods. I think I'll go ahead and use my air to hit this woods right here. It'll be escorted by the best available fighter. Looks like it doesn't have intercepted. Okay. So then let's have a go at this guy. Or, I mean, ideally I would break through here. This is what I want to do. Because I really want to cut off Army Group North, or Army Group Center here. I don't think it's going to be possible to break through here because I just don't have enough oomph to break these two units. So let's try to shatter this unit. If it retreats, it can only go 2 and there's nowhere for it to retreat. So if I force it to retreat, it will be shattered. Let me bring forward this infantry and then combined with, I think, these 3 units. That's only a 2-to-1, nothing great. What if I include this armor? 3-to-1. That's reasonable, I guess. The other option would be to take my 3-to-1 here. I think this is a better option. Let's just cut him off. If we can. See if we can make this guy retreat. Yep. So then we can advance our infantry. And then this infantry can head south. This infantry can fill the gap. Let's see if I can get an attack here. He's dug in fully. That's a 3-to-2. Nothing great. Here's a 2-to-1. He's dug in fully. I don't think I want to make that attack. This unit is low on supply. If I move it, it's almost certainly going to die. But the nice thing is, I think if I move it, that cuts off Army Group Center from direct rail supply. It could still get over land rail supply, but I think it's going to be limited since the closest place to trace from is here. So this would have to trace across swamp and in. And then from here, let's say here, no, sorry, it's got a rail line right here. I just realized that. So is there any way to cut that? If I go here, nope, there's not. So basically this is going to be his closest rail. If I go here, it doesn't really help at all. I think I'm better off staying here. And then what I'd like to do is potentially cut off this 7-5. So let's do that. I've got a strong infantry here. I think what I want to do is let's go ahead and move the infantry here, and then next turn I can have a go at those panzers, although I would love to hit them this turn. If I use both of these units, I can get a 2-to-1. What happens if I bring this guy down? I have to make sure he's within range of a commander. He is. So now if I use all 3, I can get a 2-to. Let's just take this attack and push it back. I'll send in my strongest unit. We can get a 3-to-1 there. Or I can get a 2-to-1 there. Let's go with the 3-to-1, or better, the 2-to-1. Yeah, let's go 2-to-1 there. Another 2-to-1. Push them back. I'll send a cavalry in. That'll surround Lugolev at least. And then I can use all of these to get a 10-to-1 on the armor corps. Super. It's brilliant. If I could, yeah, let's bring another cavalry in here. Get a 7-to-1 on him. And then let's advance and get a 6-to-1 on him. But I took the loss that time. That was bad luck. 6-to-1 and he beat me. Let's go ahead and advance farther here. think I'll send the infantry around. And then I'll move up with this infantry from Smolensk. And the cavalry. And then back here, let's rail a unit to the front here so we have a fresh unit. And let's walk a unit up here. Oh wow, I could have combined these two together and got another 10 to 1 on him. Well, let's do this. If I advance, I'll have no ability to attack, so I don't think I want to advance there. I'll just hold in place. But I think these two German units are going to face severe supply shortages. So this is the goal with the Red Army, to just batter away at the Germans because they're so committed on other fronts. I really wanted to punish them, which hopefully this is doing. Although the Reds are taking a lot of losses as well. What would be interesting is to take a look at the losses before I go on. So we go to reports and then we go to casualties. I'm actually going to screenshot this for myself. What we have here is May 42, and we can see the casualties so far. Soviet Union 728 on the ground, Germany 1107. Air, Germany's taken heavy air casualties. He's made heavy use of his air. So I think Soviet Union's doing okay. I'll track this as we go forward. He's got a really strong mech unit here. I'm a little worried about what this guy's going to do. Just trying to figure out if there's anything else I should be doing in the north. I think that probably, well, let's wait. I might rail that artillery out, but I'm going to wait and decide. I'll wait to decide. Let's bring this cavalry back onto the rail line. Here, I don't think it's worth running through the swamps because I'll face big supply problems, and I don't know if I'm really in a position to isolate any of his units at this point. So let's walk forward and see what we find. My armor here is kind of fatigued and worn down, so I might need to give it a little bit of a rest. Although hopefully the enemy's in the same straits. I could get into this hex, but it would use all of my movement. I could try to cross the river here. That might be a good move because he's probably going to try to lock that down. Let's take this armor up. These 2 units. Let's make a 4 to 1 across the river. Did not penetrate. I'll take a 3 to 1. No luck. That makes me tempted to bring this guy up and keep trying. That guy must have a hold fast order. I wonder if I could shatter him. It cost me all 7, so I wouldn't get to make an attack if I move up. But I'm hopeful that next turn I'll get across the river. Here, let's go ahead and put this guy in the front line. So that next turn I can start off with some nice attacks, hopefully. Am I going to try to take this city? Maybe. I don't think this turn it'll work out well though because he's dug in fully. If I hit him, 3 to 2 is not very good. Maybe let's work on the flanks instead of try to take that city. think the thing to do is to take advantage of a thrust northwest from this direction because it'll unhinge the whole Dnieper line. And there's also no river defense there, while at the same time kind of battering away at the weaker forces here. Although I think he has some strong German units in here. As you can see, some of them are weak. This corps is really worn down. Let's get our headquarters forward. Let's see here. What can I do? This infantry can push forward. Then the HQ can walk forward. Let's keep our cavalry near the front line in case we get a breakthrough. Our fighters will turn off full support. Let's base them up at Krivoy Rog here. And then let's also go ahead and base our bombers a little bit forward here. You know, actually, let me undo that last move. I'm going to put this guy on a port. I wonder if I can get an invasion. Do I have any landing ships? Yes, I do. I was thinking about using those in Finland, but at some point it might be worth trying to take Constanta here in Romania. I've got one bomber here. I think a better place for this bomber would be somewhere more flexible, like right around Berezina, because then it can bomb north and south, so I'm going to base it up. Here we've got a fighter. I'm going to take him off of intercept mode, but I am going to send him to the front lines here. This fighter, he's not on intercept mode. Let me send him to the front lines. This fighter's not on intercept mode. I'll also send him to the front lines. Alright, so the air is basically forward. And then any other attacks I should make? Let's just try a few. 3 to 2. Yeah, I think I already looked at these. Nothing too good. He's pretty strong in the south. It's pretty hard to make a breakthrough or do much. I'm going to rail this unit somewhere more useful, so let's send him here, and let's get some cavalry behind the line in case we do get a chance to break through there. I don't think I will, but you never know. I think let's go ahead and surround this guy. That should really, I think, assure the destruction of these two units. I just can't imagine they're going to escape. And that's just more manpower that I can take from the Germans. I think I might be done. This guy's pretty weak. I might be able to put a commander in. 18 points. The Russians have a lot of very, very mediocre commanders at this point. There's a 556, Timoshenko and Taranovich. So let's give him Taranovich. That's not a, it's an okay commander. Then builds for the Russians. They only have 15 money. All their money's going into upkeep for their army. So let's set their upkeep to max. I do have some nice units in the pipeline for them, I believe, some fighters. So I've been trying to build fighters to reduce the German air superiority, which has been a big problem on the Eastern Front. I don't think I need any more ground units, although now that I've had a couple of tank corps lost, I wouldn't mind some more tank units. One thing I can do here to prevent unnecessary loss of one of my units is that I could fall back with this unit. I think I'm going to do that because now if either of these has to retreat, they have a place to retreat to. So I think I'll do that. If this guy is forced to retreat, there is nowhere for him to retreat, which is unfortunate. He will be crushed, but I don't expect them to attack him. I'm not sure, though. They could. Why don't I just make a place for him right there in Krivoy Rog? Other places that I might need to retreat. This tank unit on the front line, so let's give him a place to retreat. That way I think every frontline unit has a place to retreat, ideally. Unless they start pushing things around and the space closes. All right, I think that is it for my turn here. Let me just double check my builds. Yep, I'm all done. So I hope you enjoyed the turn. I will probably not update this every turn, but I'll probably come back for a future update. And I'll definitely get an update for my game as Germany, because Barbarossa is in full swing and pretty successful. But the Allies, the enemies at the gates on the west flank. So that's a little bit interesting. Not hotly contested yet, but getting there. Thank you.